So I just got iron infusions for the first time, and I feel like my skin is improving. It hasn't even been a week. And I'm like, has low iron been the issue the entire time? I don't know, but I'm very excited to track the progress with this because, as I shared in my last video, I've also been dealing with a lot of hair shedding, and that has to stop. And low iron can cause hair loss. So I will say that hasn't really improved yet, but my skin has been improving. But let's get into it. Basically, for the past month, I have been going to the doctor 1 to 4 times a week, every single week, and I am so over it. However, I'm doing my due diligence to make sure there's nothing that I'm missing or they're missing that could be causing the symptoms that I'm experiencing because I need to be well. Like, I need to be well. It's really that serious. There have been long stretches of time where I have not gone to like Western doctors at all. I've just been on my naturopath, homeopathic, alternative medicine path. But right now, my primary care physician actually listens to me. Never experienced that before. And they give me the referrals that I ask for. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to dig, I'm going to search, I'm going to get to the root of everything, and nobody's going to stop me. Especially as a Black woman, like, our pain, our symptoms are so often not taken seriously. And I've experienced that so much to the point where I'm listing off all of these symptoms and they're like, you're young, you're healthy. And I'm like, well, why don't I feel that way? Or I'm saying, hey, I'm having these issues where, I'm waking up multiple times in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And they're like, well, don't drink close to bedtime. Do you think I haven't tried that? Do you think I don't know that that would contribute to me waking up in the middle of the night? Don't you think that I know my body well enough to know that something's a little off? That's why I'm bringing it to you. But you want me to, oh, don't drink before you go to bed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but I'm grateful to have somebody that listens to me. And I also know how to advocate for myself now in a way that I didn't before. I know how to get the care that I need and to not take no for an answer. And I'm not going to let somebody's bias stop me from getting the care that I need because do your job. And they are right now. Like, I don't have, well, I won't say I don't have no complaints. I don't have no complaints. I don't have any complaint. I don't have, wait, I won't say that I don't have any complaints. English be hard sometimes. Yeah, I won't say that I don't have any complaints, but overall, I'm just grateful again to have a primary care physician that listens and gives me the referrals that I ask for. Um, I sent a an angry message to a primary care physician some years ago because I asked for a referral and it wasn't approved. And I was like, well, why didn't you make a convincing argument to get it approved? And she was just like, well, sometimes they just don't approve it. There were other issues with her, but like, literally every referral I ask for, I get. There's no, oh, it wasn't approved, I just get it. And I'm like, she was lying. She was being a hater back then. Anyways, I also used to get overwhelmed because I would try like a million different protocols at the same time. And I just couldn't keep track of like what was helping and what wasn't. I was just overwhelmed and taking in too much information and just trying to like attack my healing is how I would word it. But now I know to just kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Right now, I'm taking like each path like one at a time. So right now I'm doing the iron infusion. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to add anything else new. I'm just going to see how this goes and track it. And then after I feel comfortable with that, I'll try the next thing because there's other things on my mind that I'm like, okay, I want to pursue this and I want to pursue this and see if it makes a difference with my overall health. But you just can't do it all at once. It's an experiment. You try a little bit of this, see how your body responds, and then move on to the next. So, with the iron infusions, my primary care physician referred me to a hematologist because they noticed that I had low white blood cells, which is something that I'm aware of, something that was brought to my attention a few years ago. It's genetic, most likely, because my grandmother also has low white blood cells, and it's also a condition that's some people know it as benign ethnic neutropenia. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, which really it shouldn't even be a condition. It's just a genetic difference in people of African descent. Uh, everything is based off of white people and usually white men. So when there's a variation of that, it has to be diagnosed. But it's just, yeah, people of African descent tend to have a lower white blood cell count. It doesn't mean anything about our health. It's just the way we're built. But I was still referred to the hematologist just in case. And they were like, yeah, we don't really see anything wrong, but we'll have you come back for a follow up in like a few months. I almost canceled the follow up appointment because I was like, I don't need to go to this. But when I went to the follow up, they were like, we need to do some more blood work. And then they found that my iron was low. So I'm glad that I kept the follow up, even though I didn't want to. I'm also thinking if that didn't come up in my first appointment, it's possible that this recent flare up maybe caused some like low iron. I don't know. Like maybe every time I flare up, it's an iron issue. I don't know. Basically, they tracked the low iron. They were like, you can take some supplements or you can get iron infusions. And I was like, give me the infusions. I don't want to take another supplement. Also, I want to feel better immediately, as fast as possible. So, got my first infusion. I feel like my skin is already like I'm not as pale as I was in the last video. I feel like the discoloration is like rectifying itself. I'm also just not as dry and rough. Like I'm still very, very dry, but my skin is just like improving and it hasn't even been a week. So I'm like, oh, do I need to do this every time I flare up? Like just hit me with some iron infusions? I don't know, but I'm grateful. I also recently came across a video of this woman on TikTok who was sharing the things that she did to improve her skin. And one of the things was iron infusions. And I was like, oh. And in the video, she talks about how the iron infusions just like improve the quality of her skin and also help with the dark circles under her eyes. And my eyes have been darker since like forever because of eczema, but also since the really bad flare up that I had in 2022, my eyes are just always puffy and inflamed. Like they're just not the way they used to be. I feel like they have not gone back to normal. So I'm like, okay, again, interested to see if these iron infusions help with bringing the inflammation down in my eyes. And then I also shared that I was dealing with hair shedding and I've been taking some supplements and doing some things to help with that. And so another symptom of low iron, hair shedding. So I'm like, this may be the answer to, a handful of the symptoms that I've been dealing with. Other symptoms that low iron can cause are extreme fatigue, pale skin, which I already said my skin's been evening out, shortness of breath, dizziness, headaches, cold hands and feet, which I've been dealing with since I feel like the beginning of time, brittle nails, and cold intolerance. So, and then when I looked online, also not just pale skin, but like almost like yellowish skin or like sallow skin, which I definitely feel like when I have flare ups, it's like the life is just removed from my face, like the vitality is gone. Mm, it's not fun. I don't like it. I don't like it. And the hypopigmentation that I experienced, that's something that's been going on for years, like off and on. So like when I first started really experiencing bad flare-ups, it's when I stopped using my steroids because I was an irresponsible 22-year-old and just ran out of the prescription and was like, I'll be fine. But anyways, when I finally went to the doctor, I had all these light patches over my face and they were asking if vitiligo ran in my family. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe like iron has been an issue since then, or like when I have flare-ups, it'd be nice if like when you go to the dermatologist, they're like, oh, we need to do blood work. Instead, they're just like, here, take these steroids. So I'm like grateful of the discovery of the iron infusions, like helping my skin, but I'm also just really frustrated. I'm not gonna cry. I'm really frustrated because I'm like finally getting the help that I need. I'm really frustrated because I'm finally getting the help that I need as far as like getting all of these referrals and like digging deeper, even if there's nothing there. Like that's happening with one of the specialists that I'm seeing, where it's like, okay, it looks like there's nothing there, but he was like, let's do a little more blood work. Like the lack of curiosity with some of the practitioners that I've seen in the past is infuriating. Because the reason why I don't go to the dermatologist is because my experience is I go and they just want you to take steroids, or they want you to do a medication, and it's like, okay, I don't want to do an immunosuppressant, I don't want to do JAK inhibitors, I don't want to do all of these things. And then, okay, yeah, there's these new medications that are supposedly safe, but they haven't been on the market for that long. And you know what was safe when I was a baby? Steroids, which is why I'm in the situation that I'm in. And so all that to say, if you were to go to the dermatologist in the middle of a flare-up and they were like, let's do some blood work and try and see what you're deficient in or what may be going on. No, they're just like, here, take a medication. It's just really infuriating. That's all. I'm no stranger to sharing my medical experiences on here, but I recently had a horrible, deplorable, awful experience with a specialist that I was seeing. It started off, I thought, this person was doing their job, really digging deep to try and figure out what was going on with me. I had kind of made up my mind that they probably weren't going to find anything, but I was like, I'm going to go through the process just to see, because I recently had another experience where I canceled a follow-up appointment and they found something. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through the process and see what happens. So I had gotten blood work done. And they were like, I'm not seeing anything here, but let's dig a little deeper. Let's get a little bit more blood work done. Could have done it the first time, so then I wouldn't have to have another follow-up appointment and pay the copay, but whatever. So I do that. I go to Quest Diagnostics to get my blood work done. I've been seeing so many doctors this year that whatever Quest Diagnostics had on, from the doctors, they did that blood work. So I just assumed that it was done, because they had said that they sent it. So I was like, cool. Have the follow-up appointment, telehealth. And he's like, we don't have the blood work from Quest Diagnostics. Mind you, they called me. They called me to remind me about the appointment and make sure that I was coming. So they could have told me then that they didn't have the blood work. But anyways, in the appointment, says they don't have the blood work. I'm like, okay, well, I went. I'm not sure what happened. Are you sure? Like, I've been to Quest Diagnostics multiple times since our last appointment, so you should have it. They don't have it. So the appointment, there's really no point for it, because the purpose of the appointment was to talk about the blood work. It was to talk about the results of the blood work. So he asked me a few questions, asks how I'm doing. I share a few things. The appointment's maybe 5 minutes. I'm like, okay. The way this particular office does it, I get off the phone with him, then the front desk calls me to schedule the next appointment and to handle payment for the copay. It's a $90 copay because it's a specialist. He says, we haven't found the blood work. We'll send that in again, and we'll have to get you back for another appointment to talk about the results. As soon as I hang up, I go, I'm not paying for this. I am not paying for this appointment, because if I would have known, I would have canceled the appointment. There was no purpose in having this appointment. So front desk calls me back. I actually don't answer. They take a minute to call me back, and I don't answer because I'm busy. And then they call back again, and I'm able to answer when they call back. She asks when I'm available for the next appointment. We figure it out. Then she says, okay, and now your copay. I go, about that. The purpose of this appointment was to go over the blood work. And if I would have known that you didn't have the blood work, I would have canceled the appointment. It's an expensive copay. I misspeak and I go, oh, it's an $85 copay. She goes, $90. I go, okay. But it's expensive. There's like a little back and forth, but I'm not really budging because I'm not going to pay. And so she says, I'm going to give the phone to somebody else. I forget, whoever manages like payment or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I get on the phone with her. She's telling me it's a violation of contract that I signed because of X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, yes, but do you understand where I'm coming from? Because everything that I've said, And so she gets upset. And she's like, we're going to waive the payment. But yeah, this is a violation of your contract. And for the future, you need to know that basically putting it all on me is my fault. It's my fault that I don't want to pay the copay because this appointment was pointless. So then she continues to move on. And I'm like, okay, but do you understand where I'm coming from? Because I don't like the attitude. I don't like the attitude that she's spewing at me now. And then she goes, and now you're cutting me off. I go, okay. So I let her finish what she has to say. Then I say what I have to say. And she goes, it's clear that we're not going to see eye to eye. I'm going to give you back to the front desk. If you have any questions, you can ask her. I go, okay. Gives the phone back. There's a long pause. And then I just hear, July 8th, 2 p.m., your next appointment. Click. Oh, okay. So I sit there for maybe 5 seconds, and I call back because I will not be coming back. Because what do you think this is? Why are y'all talking to me like this? Why are you treating me like this? Like, I'm actually trying to figure out what's wrong with my body, and y'all are being absolutely ridiculous. So I call back. I'm actually not sure what happens when I call back because it doesn't go through, but it also doesn't go to the answering machine. And I feel like I can hear them in the office and I don't know what's going on. So I hang up, call again. Then I'm transferred to like whoever answers the phone after business hours. And they're like, okay, the office is closed. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to cancel my appointment. And they're like, okay, I'll transfer you over so you can leave a message. I'm like, great. Because not only am I going to cancel this appointment, I'm going to tell them exactly how I feel because this was completely unacceptable. So I leave a message canceling the appointment and saying the way that I was treated was so disrespectful and so unnecessary, and I'm so upset by it. So I will be canceling my appointment. I will not be coming back, and I don't appreciate how this situation was handled. Then I cried. I did, because I was so upset. And I'm just like, I'm doing all this work to make sure that I'm not missing anything with all of these symptoms that I've been dealing with, all of these different things that are going on. And this is exactly why I stopped going to doctors, because of stuff like this. This is actually insane. Like, why would you treat a patient like that? And the way that I brought everything up, I wasn't yelling. I was very calm. Even when I interrupted her, it was because she was moving on to a new subject, and I wanted to make sure that like we could like at least attempt to see eye to eye. But I don't know. I guess that's just too logical. I don't know why I be thinking logically when people don't be out here acting logically or moving logically. But anyways, yeah, that was really upsetting. It was really upsetting. But I didn't pay the copay, so a win is a win. Anyways, I'm just looking forward to tracking the progress. I have another iron infusion in 2 days. So I just got my second iron infusion. I was there for 3 hours because I got a headache last time. So this time they gave me an IV drip first for just like hydration to help with not feeling crappy afterwards. And then I had to go get food because I was literally there for 3 hours. But every time last time I thought I was gonna go to the gym afterwards, but I didn't because of the headache. This time I was like, oh, I made the appointment for earlier so I can go to the gym before everything else I have to do. No, I have to go home and change and go to work. But I did ask about whether or not iron infusions help with like eczema. And I didn't get a chance to talk to the doctor, but the nurse did say, she Googled it, which I could have done. But yeah, iron infusions can help. Okay, so it's been a little over a week since my second iron infusion. And after the first one, my skin really cleared up. After the second one, I'm flaring and I'm exhausted. Like, I actually don't know what's going on. My like big flare up at the top of the year, I was like, I do get fatigued when I flare. So it's kind of feeling like that. And I'm just really over it because I'm just over it. I don't want to feel like this. And it's annoying because like my energy was like improving. My energy levels were improving. So I'm not really sure what the deal is. I'm annoyed. Yesterday and today, I just feel like I haven't been able to like function. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Cause I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like drained. I feel so drained. And I haven't really been doing anything to feel drained. It's just like, okay, if I'm flaring, my body's just tired because I'm flaring. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. So it's been about 3 months, a little over 3 months since the last iron infusion. And I will say the fatigue that I was dealing with has vastly improved. I don't know what happened that week and the next week, but I haven't been feeling like that, thank the Lord. Overall, my skin has been doing a lot better. I did go out of town. I flared up a little bit right before I was going out of town. I was stressed. And then out of town, I was around cats and I'm allergic. And my body was like, oh, what are we doing? Yeah. But when I got back from being out of town, things really leveled out. I haven't had any like big flares since then. My skin's just really been improving so much. And I will say the flare that I had in 2024, after about 3 months, so the month that the flare hits and then the next 2 months are really, really up and down, and then things leveled out. So this flare has followed the same pattern, but I will say it never got as bad as it did as the flare in 2024. That year, my legs were oozing. They were all just like, they were horrible. They were itching so badly, just broken skin, bleeding, oozing. And I hadn't oozed in years. So I was like, what's going on? That did not happen this time. And so, as I said in the previous video, every year, not every year, I don't flare every year, but every time I experience a bad flare, it's not as bad as the time before. As far as the hair shedding, that has improved, but there is still room for improvement. I was taking some pumpkin seed oil and there was something else in there. I can't remember what it is right now. It didn't help, so I stopped. I actually stopped taking all supplements because I was like, I think my body just needs a break. And I also think that's another reason why my skin has improved. I'm just letting my body do what it needs to do. A lot of the time, we just got to get out the way because our bodies are smart. After the second iron infusion, I got blood work done to make sure that my iron levels were better, and they were. And then a few weeks ago, I got blood work done again. I haven't gotten those results back yet, but I mean, I'm feeling so much better. So I can't imagine that the levels are low, but it's always a possibility. So all in all, I would say the iron infusions were helpful. They didn't cure me, but I mean, I'm feeling and looking and doing just so much better. I just wish it was the norm to get blood work done when we're flaring. And it's not always going to give us a clear answer. It's not always going to be the solution, but like, it's just good to know, you know? Instead of just being like, take some steroids. So moving forward, there are some other things that I want to try out. Though I'm doing better, there's still some symptoms that I want to get to the root of. So I'll definitely be sharing what I'm doing moving forward. I'll also be sharing how I've been getting myself out of survival mode. Because as I said in the previous video, that's a priority for me right now. And I 1000% believe that that is also helping with my health. If you're constantly stressed and just like, that's no environment for your body to heal. You got to give your body the right environment for it to thrive and for it to heal. So that's my update on getting iron infusions. I'll see y'all next time, and thank you for tuning in, as always.